Okay, we're in Final Cut Pro now. So again, this will work in just about any editing program or Photoshop, but I like to use the program I actually edit the video on. I often do it at the end. Now I'm not starting from scratch because why would I? I already made this thumbnail earlier, so what I've done is I've brought in all the files I used to make that thumbnail, and now I'm going to show you how I did it. So let's get going. The way it works is whatever's at the bottom is going to be your main background and everything, and then everything you put on top as you go along will layer on top of it. It's just layers, masks. Mess around with this kind of thing, you will figure it out pretty quickly. So I'm going to work on this first one, which is the actual photo I took earlier. So I've already done it, but you need to kind of position it in and around the right area. So like if I make that disappear, you can see it's kind of around the right area. I know it's flipped, but we'll fix that later. It's also very washed out because it's a camera phone and it's often going to do that, but we can fix that in a bit. So I'm going to zoom right in. Maybe even, nah, about there is fine. Got to stay in my hair. So what we do now is we drop a draw mask onto this. Almost every program has its own version of draw mask, and the cursor turns into a little pen or a pointer, and you just start drawing. Now, just for this, I'm not being precious. I am just drawing around to show you a quick mask. But generally the way it works with masks is the more points there are, the better the mask will be. The less, the worse. So there we go. It's a bit jaggedy. It's not great, but it's a mask. So of course, like any old cookery show or the old kids shows, here's one I made earlier. I'm going to undo that one I just did, and here's the proper one. A little bit better. Don't worry about this part here. That's because I know it's underneath the hat, so it wasn't necessary to be perfect. So what we need to do now is we need to make me look the other direction. So with that, you would add flipped. Of course, I already did it earlier. I'll switch it back on. Boom, close enough. Now, what we would need to do now is, like, it's way too washed out. It's just not looking right at all. So with color board here, obviously I'm going to bring down the exposure a bit. Try it around there. Whoop, 31%. That's not looking too bad to me. The color's all wrong. Just to be going with the color, I'm going to add some yellow. Ooh. Okay, I'm never going to get it. Like, that's one hell of a tanned guy. Okay, so that's still a little bit washed out color-wise. So I'm going to add a color wheels, and I'm just going to add some, we want this gold color to be lighting me up. Mid-tones as well. Okay. That looks like something gold is lighting me up, doesn't it? A little bit. Yeah, that's good. So, zoom right in. Okay, pretty happy with that. So now what we need to do is get that hat over my head. So what you do is a level up, you bring the original photo on again. And again, we just draw a mask around the hat. So again, I'm just for showing it, I'm not going to bother with going too perfect with. In fact, none of it's necessary except for the part where it actually goes around the head. Boom. But see, that's not really starting to look okay, at least. But again, as usual, here's one I made earlier. That's a bit better. There we go. Let's have a little closer look. Okay, I'm not liking this red area here, so I'm going to do something about that. Okay, I'm not happy with this red area here, so I'm going to do something with that. What I would normally do is I would just copy this, duplicate it, and bring it up here. So that's what this is. It's a duplicated version. We'll put another draw mask on, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a quick draw around this whole red area. Okay, that's created a mask now. Anything I do that is only going to affect this area here. I'm going to feather it a little bit so that it's not too obvious. Feather makes it blend in a bit better with that around it. I'm just going to put the saturation down. See that? That's pretty good. Pretty happy with that. Now, I don't like the way that there's no shadow happening here at all underneath that hat. I know this is just a thumbnail, and who is even ever going to look very closely at it, but I'm a little bit of a kind of perfectionist, so I think there should be a bit of a shadow here. So duplicate it, drop that up there, do another draw mask, and just kind of go something like that. And then we just need to darken the whole thing. I'll just add a color board there, exposure, pull it down. Yeah, that's not too bad. And then go back and feather it. Take away that. That looks pretty good. So look, without, with, without, with. See? Just makes it a little bit more proper looking. I've got a very red ear. Why have I got such a red ear? Like, I'm quite happy with that head, except for the ear, but I'll fix that at the end. So now let's start working on the sandbag. So there's the image from earlier on. Again, we've got to get a mask on it. So let's draw a mask. But I'm not going to bother doing the proper one again. But again, I have a better mask. So we'll undo that one and do the better one. Okay. Again, we'll flip it. Here's flipped, which I added earlier. Boom. Now we just need to get it the right size. So switch on transform. Let's get it down there. Now, where's Indy's hand? It's kind of like that. So we do a little bit more messing with it. Get it like that there. That's actually looks a bit better there. Okay, we're looking almost there. So now it's pretty easy. I want to get rid of the idle, so here is an image I got earlier on of the box. Again, I did the same thing. If I was to undo it, I'll show you real quick. That's what I got. I drew a mask around it and it made it like that. And again, I'm being really finicky here. I don't know if anyone would notice this, but so I didn't like how that was going that way when it should really be probably going straight on or something. So I just put another layer of it on, drew another quick mask just around there. And then I used distort to mess with it. Yeah, it's not perfect, but there we go. I'm happy enough with that. So now you can fine tune it a little bit more. If you notice that the pictures I took are way sharper than the film itself. That's because, you know, between it maybe not being the best still in the world that I got off the internet, plus films have grain, and you know, not everything is in full focus in a film, like it very rarely is. So my face there should just be a little bit softer. So there's a thing on Final Cut called Gaussian or Gauche. I don't know how you say it. I'll show you now. G-A-U. So G-A-U-S-S-I-A-N. And what that does is it blurs the hell out of everything. So if I put that on there, boop, blurs me all up. You don't want that though. So let's bring it down to a very, very small amount. So barely 1%, I think, is enough. See how subtle it is? I don't even know if you can see that. But yeah, I'll go 2%. And bring it back out. That's looking a little bit more like it's part of the picture. And the same with this, it's overly sharp. It's not really blending in very well with the image. So again, add a little bit of Gaussian. Oop. Then we don't want that, so let's bring that down to, no, go 2%. 3. No, go 2. I want to get rid of that red ear, so I'm just gonna make this one a compound clip so that it's everything I've done together has been merged into one image. Anything I do now is going to affect everything. So again, we are going to duplicate. So I'll make 2 layers. That way, when I draw a mask, it's not going. The rest of it's not going to disappear. So I'll draw a mask and just that there. That's just looking really bad. We'll add a color board, go to saturation and pull that down. There you go. That's pretty good. Let's go back. So now that I've done that, I'll make that a compound clip. Now there's no need for there to be the letterbox and everything. So what I did was I just transformed it, zoomed it all in a bit. That, move it over here. Have a bit of space for putting some text. Something like that. Anyway, I'll show you the finished thumbnail. There we go. I think it works out pretty well. Okay, if you look really close, you're going to tell that this does not belong in there. But for a thumbnail that people are going to watch for a couple of seconds, I think that's a pretty good way of making them. For me, anyway. Let me know what you think, guys. Leave a comment. Tell me how you do yours. I'd be interested to know. Another tip. I also like to not spend too much time on a thumbnail. Like at the most I think I've ever spent on one is maybe 45 minutes. But that's extreme. A lot of times I get them done in 10-15 minutes. It's only a thumbnail. Anyway, until the next time, everybody. This is Death Star Killer signing off. Don't forget to like and subscribe.